Welcome to HSC Alliance Masterclass series. My name is Marco Tiemann. I'm the CEO of HSC Alliance. A very good morning, good afternoon, or evening, and may peace be upon you. We discuss different halal business management topics in this Masterclass series brought to you by different halal experts. We have lined up several speakers, such as Islamic finance expert Mr. Daud Vikri. He's the chairman of HSC Alliance, but also a famous co-author of the book Islamic Finance, Why It Matters. Also, Ms. Aisha Mairani from Halal Corner, and halal certification expert, will also be one of our next speakers. This is our first HSC Alliance Masterclass with the topic Halal Excellence. If you do not want to miss any future HSC Alliance Masterclasses, it is important to like and also subscribe to this channel. If you want to join a live masterclass, please follow HSC Alliance on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Blue Sky for your registration. Let's make a start. So first of all, an introduction to HSC Alliance. Success in the halal industry requires embracing a halal excellence philosophy. Important to realize end-to-end supply chains. To realize end-to-end supply chains collaboration, I think, is key. Our founders of HSC Alliance, Mr. Daud Vikri, Mr. Azizi Meirna, and myself, identified collaboration as one of the missing links in the halal industry. This led to the creation of HSC Alliance. HSC Alliance is founded in January 2025 in Malaysia and is focused on building international halal supply chain networks. So our vision is to realize end-to-end halal supply chains and important protecting the halal integrity for consumers, but also brand owners. So let me just start with the presentation. Halal is not static. It's going through an evolution from the Muslim-owned company towards the halal product supply chain and value chain. Muslim-owned company is companies that are not halal certified. That can be for two reasons. One reason could be that there is no halal certification available in the country. Another reason is that the company has chosen not to go for certification. In the second stage, halal product, a product is halal certified based on the ingredients as well as also the processes and procedures in the company. The third stage is the halal supply chain. The halal supply chain, where halal is addressed throughout the supply chain. The halal value chain is something that the entire business value chain is being addressed. So this is the evolution of halal, which I worked on during my PhD, which I did in Malaysia on the application of halal in supply chains. The evolution of halal is important. It has also been recognized by the Islamic Development Bank, for example, as an important measurement. I see also when we look at the evolution of halal, and you can also relate that to the maturity, the halal maturity of a country. And that, I would say, is an important telltale. It is an indication of the state of a country. In what level is the country exactly? So we see that Malaysia, Indonesia, and Turkey are currently most advanced. They are at stage 3 of the halal supply chain. We see that Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, for example, is at stage 2, the halal product. It is extremely important when you're dealing with certain markets, when you're serving certain Muslim markets. It's important that you are meeting that level of the country you're serving. So if your country is at stage 3, which you're serving, it's important that you as a brand owner is also meeting a halal supply chain requirement as a minimum. So you can measure the halal maturity of a country through those stages. You can also do this for a company, and then it becomes an important key performance indicator for your organization. So halal is moving towards a supply chain and value chain. So it is important to understand that when halal moves from a supply chain to value chain, this is supported by regulation standards, but also this can be supported by standards. So when it's moving towards a supply chain and value chain, so for example, in Malaysia, we have the MS 2400. We also have the OSC SMIC standard 17. So these are important standards. We also see that halal is not only from the government, we also see there's a lot of pressure from the Muslim consumer themselves. So we see that the Muslim consumer needs and requirements are in fact accelerating this development. We saw, for example, during COVID period, during the issues between Palestine and Israel, that the Muslim consumer was not willing, boycotting brands that had any association with Israel. So this has fast-tracked the development, the importance of brand owners to have a proactive approach towards the supply chain and value chain regarding halal. And so the ambition level of brand owners serving Muslim markets should not just be focusing on being halal certified, but should look at building a solid reputation, a proper halal DNA. So we talk about supply chain and value chain. So what is the supply chain all about? So the supply chain, as I defined, is the management of a halal network with the goal of extending halal integrity from source to the point of consumer purchase. It's end to end. Some people say farm to fork. I don't think that's accurate because also animals, they receive vaccine and feed, animal feed. So there's something maybe before the farm. Also the fork, when we talk about serving food in a restaurant, which is halal certified, for example, yes, the fork is the end of the supply chain. But if you're a consumer buying from a supermarket or ordering online, at the point of consumer purchase is the cashier, for example, at the supermarket, or when you're ordering online, at the point of consumer purchase is the doorstep, not necessarily at the fridge or dining table in your house. So halal supply chain is important, and what I often see that few companies have proper key performance indicators managing their halal operation. So a brand owner, which is the focal point, because a brand owner puts the halal logo on the product packaging or outlet. The brand owner has an important responsibility for halal. Whatever and everything the brand owner does results in halal, certain halal reputation. It's important to make that measurable. So I've been working on defining halal reputation for halal trust and measurement measured through a survey among Muslim consumers in the country that shows the halal trust in a brand. Halal reputation is also an important key performance indicator, measuring the halal reputation index, the halal reputation of a company. The Halal Reputation Index is a more predictive indicator, a leading indicator that provides a forecast of the reputation of corporate reputation of a company. The license to operating is also a predictive indicator that shows how the halal reputation is linked to the emerging requirements of a country. So you can have a license to operate rating for Indonesia, Malaysia, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So the value of license operating might differ per market. So halal trust is a lagging indicator, is a past measurement among the Muslim consumer, which cannot be accurate today if it was measured yesterday. So that is measuring your halal reputation. And for the brand owner identifies and selects its supply chain partners. So for that, it's very important to to understand making the right choice on supply chain partners, your suppliers, logistics service providers, your retailers, traders. And also that should be measured. So in the HSC Alliance, we created a halal supply chain rating. There's a more on that later. So that also makes it transparent. It is a lagging indicator to measure what is your current state of the supply chain. But it's very important to understand where are the issues, the bottlenecks, and the performance. So measurement of halal performance is extremely important for companies to address. So that's the supply chain. So the value chain is the next stage, stage 4 of the evolution of halal. So when we talk about the halal value chain, it's the total business value chain of a brand owner. So this model I've been working on was created a few years ago. Further working on the model of Michael Porter, the value chain, I created some new components in this value chain model. So we see at the bottom, we see the primary activities, inbound logistics, operation, outbound logistics, halal branding and marketing, and halal services. These are the traditional key primary activities of a brand owner. Halal certification is possible for the operations and logistics. Also important to look at the branding and marketing of a company. Also halal applies there. Supporting activities, most companies that are halal certified needs to address their procurement, especially when you're a manufacturer. Very important to ensure that the ingredients are certified or approved by the halal certification body, but also sustainability from Sharia point of view, human resource management, performance measurement, but also training is important, and Sharia compliant infrastructure. We talk here about Islamic finance, takaful, which is complex if you talk about cross-border businesses. Then we have halal risk and reputation management supported by strong KPI, and then also zakat, a mandatory contribution in many Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia. In other countries, Muslim majority countries, might this not be mandatory. Next to zakat, also a voluntary wakaf contribution might be as well introduced to strengthen the halal value chain of companies. As a brand owner, it's important that your halal value chain is aligned throughout your supply chain so that your suppliers, but also customers, have similar values and supporting Islamic values. You cannot protect your halal brand if your suppliers have a total different perception regarding halal and Islamic values. And the same what happened also with child labor in the past with some big brand owners is extremely important to make sure that your suppliers and also your customers are not against Islamic values and contradicting your values. So when we talk about the halal value chain, it becomes more complex. So this is a journey which is something that will take time and a lot of effort to make this happen. I've been always working under the concept of halal by design. So it's important to draft a roadmap, to draft proper protocols, processes and procedures that go beyond just your manufacturing. It should address your supply chain, which also should come with audits. And that's where the halal supply chain rating could be of value for many companies. So what is halal excellence? So in my book, Halal Business Management, I talk about halal excellence. It is a process, a pursuit of excellence, also known as ihsan in Islam. It is similar to how you're driving license. When you get your driving license, doesn't mean you're a good driver. After 30 years, I can say I'm a pretty good driver. But in the first year after receiving my driving license, I made a few accidents and I was not certain. So the same is halal. With halal, if you are halal certified, great, welcome to the club. But it doesn't mean it's not the end goal. The end goal is halal excellence, and it just is only starting when you're halal certified. So halal excellence is about serving humanity with products and services that are lawful and good. So I've developed 7 important components of the halal excellence philosophy. First of all, no compromises on inputs and ingredients and people. So inputs, we talk about ingredients of raw materials. We also talk about packaging. So a lot of Muslim majority countries, the packaging material, the primary packaging material, which is touching the product, cannot be used of recycled materials. So that's important. All ingredients need to be either halal certified or compliant with regards to the requirements and meeting the requirements from the halal certification body. Also, people are important. At the end, halal is a people business, and manufacturing and also services, people are involved. People need to be trained, regardless if they are Muslim or not. You cannot expect that everybody knows halal standard operating procedures and protocols. These need to be trained regarding the religion of your staff. Processes are extremely important. These need to be written down. We can only excel when processes are properly documented and communicated to your staff. Halal excellence by design, based on C4 philosophy: correct, consistent, complete, and clear. The halal assurance system, I see a lot of problems in halal assurance system. I only see halal control points in manufacturing and procurement, not beyond that. We need to look at the supply chain. It is an emerging requirement for many markets. For example, Indonesia make it already mandatory halal supply chain since October last year for food, for cosmetics from October 2025, and pharmaceuticals for 2026 onwards. I think cosmetics 2026 onwards, and pharmaceuticals as well 2026 onwards. Branding and marketing is an important emerging requirement which need to be addressed if you want to be successful in Muslim majority markets. And risk and reputation management. I introduced a few KPIs regarding risk and reputation management. These are important to address. Also create protocols on that. And crisis manual. I see so many crisis manual that assume an halal incident is the same as a quality issue. That is not the case. The third is practice and repetition. You need to put things, your process and procedures on paper. Repetition makes perfect. So practice also your protocols, including also your crisis management. Effective command and control is important of the supply chain. Key performance indicators are an important component in there in order to protect your halal reputation. So KPIs are critical, define those. And what we often see with companies that KPIs are not part of halal KPIs are not part of the management. These are purely operational KPIs, such as were there any incidents, and how many people have been trained. These are not true KPIs. You have to work on proper halal KPIs. Halal excellence can only be achieved by people. These are the staff in your company, but also your suppliers and your customers, your logistic service providers. So pay a lot of attention to them, your internal staff, but also your partners in the supply chain, not only conducting audits, but also provide training. And there are already examples of many big companies that provide training to the staff also regarding the halal principles, the halal values of that brand owner, and to educate your partners in the supply chain about the important Islamic values, but also the practical protocols. Engagement with your customer is important. So if you're dealing with Muslim markets, Malaysia, Indonesia, Saudi Arabia, it's important to stand close with those Muslim communities. They might have local preferences, local customs. So engage with them and make your product an important part of their lifestyle. Finally, in balance with nature. also known in Islam as Mizan. We had several discussions also with our founders of HSC Alliance. It's an important topic, in particular also to Azizi Meherna, Mr. Azizi, one of the co-founders, has done a lot of work in that, and sustainability is an important part of halal excellence, and also important part of the halal excellence philosophy. I've read great books about this topic. The Green Dean by late Abdul Martin, an American Muslim, unfortunately passed away a few years ago. He wrote a great book about sustainability, about addressing waste, energy from heaven and hell, and also the importance of food gardens, and the importance of water, the most precious resource we have. A book I really recommend everyone. Just some insights on the halal supply chain rating we are doing. I think if we talk about the first step in halal excellence, we have to start measuring the performance of the halal supply chain. The halal supply chain rating is exactly doing that. We do conduct halal supply chain ratings for logistics operators, including ports, seaports, airports, transporters, warehouse operators, but also important partners of the supply chain, such as suppliers, retailers, but also end-to-end supply chains for brand owners, but also halal parks. The halal supply chain rating provides you insight on the current performance of your supply chain, and also it will strengthen the reputation, strengthen your capital, your reputation capital of your organization. It is an important measurement. We're using 7 criteria in measuring the performance, amongst other cleanliness. Cleanliness is an important basis of halal. Without cleanliness, there is no halal. So important that your operations is clean. Identification of halal is important on the product label, on freight documents, and throughout the supply chain in IT. Customer service is also important. So looking at the competence also of the help desk, security staff, also related to halal matters. Number 4, halal inspection. Inspection is important to protect the halal integrity through the inspection process. This is not always the case when we talk about seaports and airports. Important to be addressed. We want to avoid cross-contamination. A lot of inspections take place of boxes of products, and we need to ensure that no contamination happen in that halal inspection process. Therefore, an important part of focus of our audits for the halal supply chain rating. We also assess the range and quality of halal services, evaluating the quality, special services such as halal storage, transport, packaging solutions, ritual cleansing, but also the facilities such as praying areas. Number 6, access to halal supply chain network, assessment of how easy it is for halal cargo to link to halal transport network, and also accessibility features. And finally, meeting halal standards. So are you halal certified? Do you have a halal assurance system? And many more. So if you're interested in this, I think join the movement of HSC Alliance. So here's our contact details. Before going to the Q&A, I think we would also welcome you all at our next masterclass. Is provided by Daud Vikri, the chairman of HSC Alliance, on the topic of halal and Islamic finance. It is held on Tuesday, 17 June.